All right, so there was a question online here about, or that prompted me to want to give you some tips on how to debug a little bit better in Eclipse. First of all, I've got an example here with several obvious errors, but I just wanted to show you how you can use your debugger to its fullest. So let me go ahead and run this program, and clearly we get an error here on line 10. Remember, this is clickable, and it's telling you exactly what line this exception is happening on. So if you click that, it takes you there, and you can see immediately that you're dividing by 0 here. You can set a breakpoint here by double-clicking over here. Or sometimes I like to go back several lines, and that's where I like to set on my breakpoints. But of course, you can set multiple breakpoints here. Now, to launch the debugger, you should hit that little bug up there, switch over to the debugging perspective, and then you can step through line by line using this over here, right? And you can examine the actual values over here so that you can see, oh, okay, well, I'm about to divide by 0 there. You can stop and edit the program so that you can continue. Now here's another trick that you may or may not be aware of. When I run this, I'm getting a null pointer exception. It's happening on line 19. So what you can do is you can set a breakpoint here and run the debugger up to that line and see. Here, let me go ahead and get rid of that other one, but I can also continue all the way down to that line. Remember, this is a continue. It'll go to the next breakpoint. And I can see that, oh, okay, well, there's S that's null. Now, you might have a more complex situation in which you've got several things that might be null, and you just know the line, or maybe you don't even know the line. You just want to stop the program if a null pointer exception is about to happen. So you can actually take care of that. Over here in breakpoints, let me see, you can go ahead and add a Java exception breakpoint and null pointer exception. And when you put this on here, now all null pointer exceptions are automatically a breakpoint. So when I hit this debugger, of course, it's going to take me up to that point, and there's about to be a null pointer exception. Now, it's suspended the program. If I click one more, then of course I'm going to get that null pointer exception. But it's suspended the program up to the point right before the null pointer exception would happen, and then you can of course examine everything over here in your variable view over here. All right. So let me go ahead and go back over here, stop the debugging, and I'm going to get rid of all of the breakpoints that I've created so far, because one of the things that I want to show you is a conditional breakpoint. So you might have a loop here, and you might set a breakpoint inside of the loop, and when you run this, right? Well, I'm not interested in what's happening on loop 1. I'm interested on so I'm going to have to, walk through this until okay, now I is 5, now I is 7, etc. I'm going to have to click through this a lot. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to set a conditional breakpoint. That's the same breakpoint over here, but you can set it to be conditional. And only if I is, say, 500, right? Because we're doing 1,000 iterations over here, I want to stop, say, in the middle, okay? And I'll go ahead and save that. Any valid Java condition can be put over here. So when I run this now, oops. Let me just go ahead and bring it out of the loop here. There we go. I'll restart it. Oops. Cancel this. Okay. Cancel all the breakpoints. I want the breakpoint in the middle. Right there. There we go. And now I can go ahead and make it conditional. I is equal to 500. Right. Stop. Clear that out. All right. Now let me go ahead and try that one more time. And there, you see that it stopped. And if I look at the variable value here, I is 500. So it went through 500 iterations without me having to hit next, 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 until I actually got to 500. Okay. So those are conditional breakpoints, those are exception-based breakpoints, and of course just regular old breakpoints. Make sure that you're using your IDE, in this case Eclipse, to its fullest.